Hey everybody, it's Matthew. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to a new article. Today we've got something from Guitar World, and we've got the Guitar Center CEO, Gabe Dalporto, talking about the future of the company at Guitar Center. It says, if you walk through a Guitar Center, you see an awful lot of $300 guitars. If I'm a serious musician, it doesn't feel like the right place for me anymore. Guitar Center's new CEO explains why the firm's future must prioritize premium guitars. What do you mean? To evolve and execute better. Let's take a look at what he said. The world needs the instrument superstore, but is conceded it needs to evolve and execute better. If you want the blah 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 blah, that's a bunch of jargon that we don't care about. That's business talk. He's discussed why the firm will begin expanding its premium range of electric guitars. I hate ads. Okay, let's look here. Somewhere along the way, we forgot who our core customer was. Dalporto states our core customer is the serious musician, the gigging artist or passionate player, where music is a big part of their identity. Over the years, we've evolved significantly into serving the beginner and entry-level customer, which is great, but if you walk through the GC store, you're going to see an awful lot of $300 guitars. We have some premium product, but we don't have enough, and it's very hard to experience our premium product because we have our best guitars locked on the top row where you can't get to them. That's a fair comment here. So if I'm serious and I walk into a Guitar Center, it doesn't feel like the right place for me. Instead, he says customers need to think this is a playground. This is where I belong when they come into a store, and means having much more premium assortment that's easily accessible. Paraphrase. Our competition has more engaging content and makes it easier to find and buy the right product. However, he adds the Guitar Center has the most amazing and passionate people in the world. It depends on the Guitar Center you go to, though, so I would take that with a grain of salt. Like the random Guitar Center you see in some city off the highway, off the interstate, that's not going to be that great of a Guitar Center. Those people are just working retail jobs, man. They're not necessarily passionate. And I've had experience with going to Guitar Centers like that. So we're by far the largest physical retailer of musical instruments in the country. We need to get back to the basics and deliver. So let's talk about it. Now, some of the things I agree with. Yes, they don't have the best access to premium guitars and premium products like that because they are on the top row and you always have to ask permission to grab them. You can't get to them. That's a fair thing to say. It's like if you're selling this stuff, you do want to be able to get to it and see it. I mean, a lot of the bigger Guitar Centers, like the one in Nashville and the one in LA and those places, they don't have as much of an issue with that, but they are more geared toward selling higher end instruments though than a lot of the other Guitar Center locations are. So that's one different thing. But he's saying it's not catering to serious musicians because there's a lot, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of $300 guitars. Okay, fine. But there's also a lot of ones that are like under $1,000 too. And those are good. Those aren't premium, but there's a lot of really good guitars sub $1,000, even lower than that, you know? So what are you doing? Are you saying serious musicians want to spend more money on the instrument because it's, you know, premium or something like that? And that's one of the issues there is you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a good guitar that works for a gigging musician, because your goal as a serious musician, as he calls it, should be an instrument that feels good to play, looks good. I know that's not as big of a deal, but it does matter to people. Like, your eyes are part of it. And, you know, one that's going to be reliable and put together properly and is going to stay in tune, which is probably the most important thing if you're gigging, that it, you know, doesn't just go out of tune on you for no reason. And there's plenty of guitars that do that. And that's the thing, is you don't need a premium instrument to do that. Part of his reasoning for, you know, why he would want, his premise is kind of incorrect in some things, because he's assuming that serious musicians just want premium stuff. They don't necessarily want that. And sometimes it can be off-putting to see a lot of premium gear if you don't have a lot of money, because then it's like, well, can I afford anything in here? And then you may just walk out because you're like, I'll go somewhere else where I can get a better deal. Which, that would be a small factor. I think people are smart enough to use their eyes. And that's the thing. And that's also saying that you can't get a good instrument that's for $300 or less, which is possible. Some people don't think it is because they're usually foreign made, but the quality of foreign built guitars has gotten so good at this point that most of the time, if it's a reputable brand, you're going to get a good guitar no matter what you pay for it. Unless it's a Epiphone in 2017, like me. Oh boy. But regardless of that, you know, if we're talking Squire, we're talking Gretsch, we're talking some of the other brands that, you know, make a lot more cheaper guitars, it is possible at those points, although you probably want to be above 350 because there is kind of a cutoff there where stuff gets much better after that point. But it's like, that's the only thing with this that sounds completely dumb, is he thinks that they aren't catering enough to people that want premium instruments, even though they don't need to do that, because if your core demographic is the serious musician, your price point is probably going to be, you know, 500 to 1200 or something like that, because that's usually where the best bang for your buck guitars are going to be, of where it's a guitar that works really well and does exactly what you need it to do, but it doesn't cost too much money. And you don't need to have premium product. I mean, how many serious musicians are out there that are like, oh, I want a Murphy Lab Gibson, or I want a PRS Wood Library, or some, you know, ridiculous thing like that that's several $1,000s. Like, I don't think serious musicians are saying that. I don't think they're missing out a whole lot at Guitar Center on those things. I think he just wants to have more premium product in his stores to make himself feel better at the end of the day, because I guess that's what he wants. So maybe he's assuming other people want that too. And I don't think there's enough people for him to be like, we have a serious problem of not providing premium gear. Anyway, I mean, this is just a little funny thing to talk about. I've never liked the assumption that, oh, we need to have premium gear, that's what people want. Then I'm like, no, people don't want that. They want a guitar that works, and that's really it, honestly. If you have the money for the high-end one, that's cool, but it's not the goal, or it's not going to be the main desire of most musicians, and it doesn't need to be a big demographic that you need to specifically target. What your strategy should be is find the brands and the guitars that are really high quality for their price point, and put those ones front and center, because your goal should be get the guitar player and the serious musician a good product that they're going to like, and then if they need a new guitar, they're going to come back because they bought a good one here. And that's how you keep it doing, not the one-off, I'm a guy that's made a bunch of money, you know, and I want to blow $4,000 on a guitar. But anyway, guys, leave down below how you guys feel about this, if you think this is good direction for Guitar Center as a company, and if it matters to you whether or not they've got good accessibility and a good amount of premium product and things like that. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video here today, and don't forget to click the bell so that you know when a new video is going to be out. And with that, I will see you guys next time in another video. Have a good one.